This is Elo Speaks back again with another video. So I was watching a lot of sports talk media the other day, and they were talking about the recent series that's going on in the NBA playoffs with the Suns versus the Lakers. And right now, as we speak, the Suns lead the series 3-2 against the Lakers. And people have been like talking, media have been sorting right now as regards to what's going to happen if LeBron James gets knocked off in the first round. As we know, LeBron James is 14-0 when he started first making his playoffs after 2 seasons playing with the Cavaliers, and he's never lost in the first round ever since. They've always used that type of argument against Jordan as to why LeBron James is better, even though it's a silly argument, but I digress as regards to that. Now, the main crux of the video that they were talking about as regards to LeBron James was how this will affect his legacy moving forward in the quote-unquote GOAT debate. To be honest, there's no GOAT debate between LeBron James and Michael Jordan. It's just Michael Jordan and it's everybody else. But just for happenstance, just for shits and giggles, let's entertain that conversation as regards to the GOAT conversation between Michael Jordan and LeBron James. I already have Michael Jordan better than LeBron James. I have LeBron James in my top 10, somewhere in the top 10. I might do a video on that sometime later in the future, I don't know. But yeah, LeBron James is in the top 10 greatest players of all time, but he'll never be greater than Michael Jordan. But for just this video's sake, yes, I do think that him losing in the first round against the Phoenix Suns will deal a big blow to his quote-unquote GOAT talk in terms of trying to usurp Michael Jordan as the greatest of all time. Now, I've heard media fanboys such as Chris Broussard and Shannon Sharp and other people try to, talk around it and say, how could this affect his legacy when Jordan got knocked off in the first round by the Pistons, or he got knocked off by the Boston Celtics, and so far and so forth, and blah, blah. Well, you are right about that, Jordan getting knocked out, but you have to understand, when Jordan got drafted the first 3 years, he was playing with cokeheads. Now, I'm not trying to make excuses for Jordan, but still, it has to take into account. I can't name three players from the early years of Jordan before he had the tandem with Scottie Pippen. So, and on top of that, most of the teams that he played to against the Pistons or the Celtics, those teams went on to at least play in the finals or win a championship. So that's what Jordan had to go up against when he started making it to playoffs. Go up against established dynasties that was at the peak of their powers. Against the '86 Celtics, the Bad Boy Pistons, those teams were at the peak of their powers, and they either was going to be playing the Los Angeles Lakers for battle of supremacy over the NBA for that whole decade until Jordan broke through in the '90s and was able to win a championship. So this false notion that Michael Jordan got knocked off in the first round is just ludicrous to me. LeBron James right now, year 18, 36 years old, I understand he's not 100% healthy right now because of the ankle injury. AD is out, but I still expect him to at least make it out the first round. That's what I expect of him. If he's this quote-unquote GOAT that everyone wants to claim he is, he should at least get out the first round. I already had them not winning the championship because I don't think that they're better than the Clippers. I don't think that they're better than the Nets. And right now, they're not looking better than the Bucks or the Sixers. So that's going to be a tough sled for them to go out of, but still, he should at least make it out the first round. I understand that the Suns are way better this year than they were last year. They're the 2 seed, and the Lakers are the 7 seed right now, and the seeding because of their losing due to injuries. But still, if LeBron James, as great as he is, should at least make it out the first round of the playoffs. And if he gets knocked off in the second round, or the Western Conference Championship, or the finals, if they don't make it that far, then okay. But for him to lose in the first round is not a good look, especially on the NBA's part. I've been watching the series closely as of now. LeBron James has been looking a little old on the other side of 36. AD seems to can't stay healthy for a whole season. That just showed you how last year was an asterisk championship because they had 5 months off of the season, and then they went to Orlando, where they basically played there with no fans, no travels, no nothing, and then were able to have to play a fifth seed injured Miami Heat team. So that title right there, I seriously don't count that title as a real legitimate title because all the BS circumstances that did happen. And on top of that, LeBron James' trip to the finals was one of the easiest trips there because he basically 5-2 against, it was a 5-1 series against the Blazers. And my mistake, it was 4-1 against the Blazers, it was 4-1 against the Houston Rockets, and then it was 4-1 against the Denver Nuggets. The only series that they kind of struggled was against the Miami Heat, and that team was injured with two of their best players, and on top of that, they were a fifth seed team, and it took them 6 games. So I seriously don't count that championship. I think it's false. I think it's false to me. Now, is that biasness coming from me as a Miami Heat fan? Sure, but if the Miami Heat fan were to have won that championship, I would have said that was an asterisk championship too because of all the situation that happened as regards to the bubble and the COVID-19. But I don't want to digress too much into that. But the main point is, LeBron James is as great as he is, he has to win Game 6 and Game 7 to propel the Lakers into the playoffs and make a championship run. I don't want to hear no excuses about he's old, he's 36. None of that. He's injured, AD's out. You're good enough as it is, as the quote-unquote greatest player of all time, to at least get your team out the first round. I don't want to hear no excuses from his fans. They're already setting up narratives right now about if LeBron James lose or what's going to happen with AD. Are they going to trade him? What they're going to do? LeBron James, some of the players are going to leave, like Dennis Schroeder, because he's on his contract up. Andre Drummond, he's on a 1-year deal. The team's going to look a lot different next year as regards to this year and the year before when they went on that bubble run. But still, LeBron James needs to win in order to stay claimed to be in this quote-unquote GOAT talk with Michael Jordan, to lay claim and say that he's potentially the greatest of all time, which he's not, but still, just for his conversation purposes, he needs to do that. And if he can't, then that's going to deal a heavy blow on his legacy. I don't want to hear fanboys in the media like Emmanuel Archo, Shannon Sharp, and etc. saying this doesn't deal blow to his legacy. It does. You can't lose in the first round to the Phoenix Suns. They're not great. The Phoenix Suns are not a garbage team, but LeBron James should be able to propel this team to at least the next round. Anything after that, I had them losing possibly in the Western Conference Final anyway, so I think they could at least make it out the first and second round to at least make it to the Western Conference Final and potentially lose then. Or if they could propel into the finals, I have them losing against the Brooklyn Nets, against KD, Kyrie, and Harden. So it's not looking good for Lakers right now. AD has a calf strain right now, and not my mistake, he has a groin strain right now, and those groin strains don't take a week to heal. The majority, it takes a lot longer, probably a month or longer, and if he plays on it too early, the potential re-aggravate it and make it worse than it is, and that could potentially affect him in the future, because we know that LeBron James is not going to play forever. He's going to retire sometime in the future, and they want to build around Anthony Davis and make him the catalyst of the Lakers. But if he can't stay healthy for a whole season to do that, then the Lakers are in a world of trouble right now. Tonight, they're on the brink of elimination, Game 6 against the Phoenix Suns. So everything's on the line. LeBron James better go back to 2012 Game 6 versus Boston in order to keep the series alive to force a Game 7. If not, then they're going to lose, and it's going to be a big blow to his legacy. I don't care what no one say. There's no excuses for him. He better make it happen. Those are my thoughts and opinions on the matter. Let me know yours down in the comment section down below. This is Ito Speaks out.